Guitar tips, guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips, yeah. Hello, welcome to Guitar Tips. Usually I do a little spiel at the top. I'm just going to go right to the tip this week. This week's guitar tip is go for the big dough. Go for the big dough. Now, what the hell am I talking about? Am I saying that you should sell out and just go commercial and just make it all about money? Make music be all about money? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what this tip is about, though. If that's what you want to do, I don't judge. That's a perfectly fine way to live your life. Go for the big dough has to do with modal interchange. Are you ready for that? Modal interchange. This week's tip was inspired by a guitar lesson I was teaching earlier this week with my student Jay. And he asked me about modal interchange, and I had to think about how to explain it in a way that made some kind of sense, that didn't sound like too mathy. So I'm going to try and explain it right here to you in a sort of guitar tip way, which is to say even less mathy, and just try and make some quick and easy sense. And then if you want to explore it further, of course you can. So if we're in the key of A, for example, you have the notes of the A major scale, which is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. My pick's got a little bite in it. I'm going to use the other side here. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. That means we can play some melodies using those notes. So that's just notes, and then you could combine those notes to make, familiar sounds like triads. Or you could combine them maybe in less predictable ways to just make, let's see, that's just 3 of those notes in a stack that I put together without giving it too much thought. Here's another stack. Or there's lots of different ways that you can combine notes from one scale to make harmony and melody. But even as adventurous and creative as you want to be with that, there is a limit. There's still only these 7 notes that we allow to be played in what we call diatonic music. You can look it up on Wikipedia. The point is, what is the point? The point is, eventually you might want to explore some other kinds of harmonies, some other kinds of colors, and modal interchange is one way to do that. So if you look at the A major scale, and one feature of it is that it has A in it. A is the dough. That's the big dough. So we're going to now explore some other harmonies, but use A as our gateway. So that's the big dough. If A is the first note of a scale, what if you thought of it as the second note of a scale? So A, as it turns out, is the second note of a G major scale. So now we could play some G stuff still over A in the bass. Sounds pretty cool. Now, if you want to think of it this way, you could say, well, we've gone from A Ionian, that's just another name for A major, to A Dorian. That's true, but I'm not really thinking of it exactly that way. I'm just thinking about where else A can fit into some major scales. So it's in the F major scale. It's the third note or third degree of the F major scale. So here's some F stuff over an A pedal. A pedal just means a continuing note that holds through changing harmonies. So here's some F stuff. A is the fourth note of an E scale. So here's some E stuff with A and the as the featured Do. Excuse me. That last little turnaround was not part of the E stuff. But anyway, you could continue exploring. A is the fifth note of a D scale. It's the sixth note of a C scale, C major scale. It's the seventh note of B flat. So you could experiment with, you going in and out of, from A major, say, to F major. So you could try this. We're in F now because I'm using notes from the F scale. That's A. Now we're in F. Back to A. And I'll do it again and I'll go to G. Right? So, of course, we could get a lot more specific about what's going on here, but I would actually encourage you not to worry about naming things so much, but rather to explore. That's what the big Do is all about. Just keep the big Do in your mind and think about other scales that it might be part of. And we're just talking about major scales here. That A could also be part of melodic minor scales and harmonic minor scales and pentatonic scales. There's a lot of other stuff to explore. But that's my guitar tip version of modal interchange. Go for the big Do. I hope this inspires you to find some new sounds, write some new songs, make some new music. For guitar tips, I'm Adam Levy. Stay tuned and take good care.